Michael Hudson here. Welcome to video blog number 3. Hey, today I'm sitting in the Phoenix airport in the little corner tucked away here by Starbucks, but I wanted to get this video done for you, and yes, I'm a day late again this week. I promise we'll get this on track, or we may just move them so I release them on the weekends. My objective is to get the information to you in the spirit of helping you, so appreciate your patience and appreciate your tuning in, even though this is probably coming out later than I promised you again. But today I want to talk to you about a couple things that relate to time on the road and working with clients and next steps and so forth. The first point is about routine. When you travel a lot, and you're going to travel a bit when you build your expert business as a speaker, coach, or consultant, whether you're traveling to work with clients, whether you're traveling to go to a conference and meet new people, whether you're attending a learning event or some program that's going to help you be better at what you do, you're going to be on the road from time to time. So my recommendation is develop some simple routines. Now I'm sharing this with you today because my colleague who came out to work with me at this client in Phoenix actually left their house and forgot their license. Now imagine yourself being in the airport trying to get through TSA without your license. Now it worked out okay and he got here, but certainly that was an added level of stress you don't need. And you see, I believe in order for you to do great work for your clients, you need to do everything you can up front to minimize the stress you experience. So have a routine. Here's my tip for that. I carry my wallet in my briefcase because I hate sitting on a wallet. So before I leave the house, the last thing I check before I walk out the door is my wallet in the pocket it's supposed to be in the briefcase? Now I'm a little bit of an over-preparer, so I double check when I put it in the car to confirm that it actually is there. Because I have had the time where I got halfway to the airport and had to turn around and go back home to get the wallet. That's not fun, and I don't want you to get into that. So have a routine for that. Second, have a routine for your equipment. You know, there's various tools we need to do our jobs and to do the work that we do with our clients. You want to make sure those things are with you at all times. You know, sometimes you may want to have duplicate materials. One set that's the stuff you take on the road, one set that is the stuff you leave in the office. There's a lot of value in making that investment because, again, it makes your life easier. It gives you a chance to not have stress come into your life because you forgot something or you're on the road and you have to find a source of something. Now I go so far as to even do this with my clothes. I have a set of clothes I wear on the road and I don't wear them at home. There's a section in my closet where they stay when I come home. When I get ready to pack, I just go to that section, I grab them, and they're ready, and I take off. I think having routines for your equipment, your clothes, and the identification pieces that you need is really valuable and alleviates some stress. So I encourage you to adopt some that work for you. Second tip of today is relative to managing client engagements. Now, you know, the tough thing about a client engagement is you're not in control, right? But you need to be the expert and help guide them into what's going to work. Things like how early you need access to the room if you're doing an on-site program for a client. You know, they'll tend to schedule the room based on whatever their scheduling system does, and you need it to be available at least a half hour or so before so you can get in and get set up. You need to plan your process so you're there in time. You need to understand whether there's a security system you have to pass through and how that process works. Do you need to sign in? Do you need to call somebody to get into the building? All of those kind of things are part of your setup getting in. Now, beyond that, when you deliver the event, obviously I want you to recognize and respect the people involved and deliver the event focused on one thing, the impact they're seeking to create. That's what matters. It's not about your program, it's not about you, it's about them and their people and the problem you're solving and the impact you're going to create by helping them solve that problem. But here's the real point I want to talk about today. What do you do when the program's over, they loved it, and people talk to you about doing something else? Well, here's what you don't do. Don't jump all over the opportunity and get excited and try to pin it down at that moment. That is a big mistake. Here's why. They are coming off of a high. They just went through something with you that they found valuable enough to engage in a conversation of, can we do more of this? That's the worst time to try to pin things down because you don't want to shift the focus to the details. You don't want to shift their mind to the future. You want to let them think about what you've just taught them. You want them to experience that and walk away and have some time to process. So if they say, hey, I'd like to talk with you about this, recognize that's what they said. I'd like to talk to you about this. And say, well, would it be okay if I followed up with you early next week? Would you prefer me to reach out by email or phone? What's best for you? Now, some people will jump on that and say, hey, let's just schedule an appointment and then we'll have a phone conversation and move forward. That's a great thing to do. But others may say, send me an email and give me some outline sort of how you might see this. Now, if they say that, you got to go a little further. Generally, they won't. They'll accept that you're saying, I'll follow up, and that's your way of saying, hey, I need to pack up, get out of here, let you guys get on. But it's also your way of protecting the intellectual work that you just did. It's your way of giving them sort of a forced way, without them even knowing it, of reinforcing the material in their mind and knowing that they're looking forward to hearing from you. So that's step one of that process. Now, once you reach out and contact them, you've got to use the 4-step model. My 4-step model is very simple. It's been very successful for me. Ask, listen, learn, serve. Ask them what they're thinking. Let them tell you their vision for the program. Bite your tongue and hold back on trying to explain to them what you're going to do. But be prepared to answer questions. They may say, can you tell me about some other things you've done like this? Have you ever worked with an organization like ours on this specific thing we're discussing? It's important to answer that question. Now, if you say, well, wait a minute, I don't have the experience. I don't have a client that I've done this with before. Well, yes, you have. There's something you've done that helped you build the expertise you're sharing. So you say, in working with other clients, these are the ways that we've dealt with those. This is the way we've dealt with those kinds of things. Because what you're trying to do is convey that confidence and that assurance. I'm not trying to get you to confuse them. I'm not trying to get you to lie to them. And I'm doggone sure I'm not trying to get you to make them think you can do something you can't do, because I don't want you to ever be in that position. It's a horrible place to be. But I do want you to demonstrate the confidence that gives them the confidence. Now, that works if you stay in that ask mode and that listen mode. If you're asking them what they want, what their outcome, what their impact is that they need to have come from whatever they want you to do, and then you're listening to what they say, and you're shaping your responses around what they've said, because that focuses the work on them. It is, in my opinion, never about you and your great program. It's about you and the impact you can create because you solve the problem they've identified. You engage with them at a level that lets them know you're different. You're listening. Now, when you've listened, you're learning things. Make note of those in your head. If you need to, write them down. Now, I recommend if you're going to write them down, say, would you mind if I captured some notes here? Because sometimes it changes the conversation when you bring paper into the process. It's better if you can sort of keep it in your head and follow up, but it's okay to say, would it be okay if I took some notes so I make sure I capture what we're talking about? Now, sometimes, if I do get dragged into that conversation further in a room, I'll go to a flip chart if it's after a meeting, and I'll say, well, let's just map this out, and I'll just take this piece of paper with me, and then I'll follow up with you about it. So we ask, we listen, we learn. Then you serve. What does serving mean? Serving means you find a way to follow up in a way that's informational and valuable. If you've got some content around the topic that you've discussed with them, the area they want to go further in, drop them a note on it, drop them an article, send them to a web page, send them to a video, whatever you've got that you can share. So use the ask, listen, learn, serve formula. Set the follow-up conversation. Let's talk about why this is really important. When you ask, listen, learn, and serve, you gain insight into the impact they want from the work they want you to do. You also learn the organization, its structure, and you gain insight into the people who are going to be in the program. That allows you to identify the format that is the right format to get the outcome they're seeking. That's how you customize and differentiate. That's how you take control of the process. The real reason I don't want you to jump into this and go too far right after you've just finished the program is let them go home and do some thinking on their own about how the program they've talked to you about, even though it may have been a 1-minute conversation, might flesh out in their organization. That will help you when you enter the ask, listen, learn, and serve mode and start interacting with them about it. But here's the other thing. You are an expert. You know to get the impact how it needs to be designed. You're going to need to understand who's in the audience, what their roles are in the organization, and how they align. And what this does for you is it gives you the opportunity to turn what might have just been a one-time event into a longer-term engagement. Not just to make you more money, but to help you do what you're there to do, which is create impact. That's all I want you to do. is create impact for the people you serve. When you understand, you can say, you know what, we can probably best achieve that by doing it this way. That demonstrates expertise. That positions you differently from the competition out there in the marketplace. That makes you their partner, because now you're a member of the team. You see, team members routinely talk to one another after a meeting and say, we need to connect about this, and then walk away. That's what I'm asking you to do. When they say, okay, let me bring this to a close and just sort of quickly summarize. First thing, develop some routines that make your travel as stress-free as possible. The ones that work for you. That's what matters. Second, use the ask, listen, learn, and serve process. When someone says they love what you did, they want you to come back and do some more, say, fantastic, I'd love to explore that with you. How about if I call you next week? And then move on. Give it time to breathe, then focus on understanding what impact they're seeking, who the people are, and design the format of the program in a way to get that impact. And realize that's how you really become valuable. That's how you move into being a partner, not a vendor, not a supplier, not a hired gun that they bring in once in a while. I hope you'll put this to work. I guarantee it'll help you take your expert business to a whole new level. This is Michael Hudson saying, get out there this week and get your message heard, because there's someone waiting who needs to hear it.